Okay, folks, listen, I got a banger for you. Listen, today we finna do a Cajun 15 bean soup, right? So some of you guys refer to it as a Cajun ham bean soup, all of that, but guess what? We're gonna be using ham bone and these ingredients, so let's get it. Now this is an excellent, recipe to do after the holidays for those of you guys that put together, like a glazed ham or something like that, or any type of ham, right? What you wanna do is you wanna save that ham bone. There's so much flavor in that, right? So now what I'm doing is, and another thing, just to reiterate how good this recipe is and how quick, it's just like a little bit of prep, right? So as you see, I'm getting ready to knock down, and chop up my bell pepper. All right, so when I chop it down, this is what I mean. We're gonna actually make this into a dice, not really a chop, right? So you can see the size that I'm using, and then look at the ease as I'm doing it. You gotta have a sharp knife. And speaking of a sharp knife, if you guys are interested, you might wanna check out one of these knives, right? These are my chef knives. They on my website, and listen, they on sale for the holiday, right? Listen, I'm gonna put it up on the screen right now. Holiday AB is all you need. Pick one of these up. They make for great gifts, and then you can have a little bit of the signature. You know what I mean? Hey, let's get it, folks. So once you got them diced down, I started out with like a bigger piece, and then you can see right here, I went a little smaller. Remember, the general rule. The rule is bigger is for texture, smaller is for taste. Now, when it comes to my andouille sausage, right? And again, this is chicken andouille. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these down into like little cubes, right? So this is why you see me doing what I'm doing. And I like it, it's so pliable. You see what I mean? Because it's got a natural curve to it. You can straighten it out as you cut it and get it as straight as possible, right? So now I'm gonna go ahead and just cut these down like this into like little bitty diced cubes of andouille. Now, when you start looking over this way, I had 2 links out here for the andouille sausage. It's up to you guys how much meat you like. I love everything, on the meaty side especially when it comes to soups, right? But as you can see, I got my leftover ham right here. So listen, I'm gonna cut that down and I'm gonna reserve this back. Now, don't forget the full printable recipe is on my website, Smokin and Grillin with AB.com, and that's WITAB.com. And just like that, your prep work is really out the way. Right, now you could take the ham, you know what I mean? If that's the meat that you wanna do, you wanna put this in there, you can cube this up too. But for me, I'll cut that down in just a minute. Now, since ham, that's part of the pork patrol, right? So listen, we got bacon fat. It's all in the same name. Now, we're just gonna go ahead, start with a medium flame. We're gonna take our bacon grease and just put in, about a tablespoon. Now you guys gotta love recipes like this, you know what I mean? For like after the holiday, it's nice, it's cold, you know what I mean? So these are the kind of recipes you wanna make, right? That'll like fill you up. This with a slice of cornbread, keep you warm, So now that this is melted, oh yeah. Now if you don't have your bacon grease, which you should since you've been cooking over the holiday, if you guys use pork, right? We wanna start to, do our little saute of our veggies. So I'm gonna start right now with just, starting off with my onions. All right, now you can see, look at my onion. I always give my onion a head start, right? Next, I'm gonna come with both my bell pepper and my andouille. All right, so here's where you just wanna go ahead and just make sure it all has the bacon grease on it. Make sure it's all flat on the bottom, and now we start cooking that down. When it comes to your beans, I've said it before, most people know this already. Listen, you wanna soak your beans the night before, right? Which I've done right here. I'm finna hit it in the colander right here in my sink. Rinse them, get them all cleaned up, and then I'm gonna get them ready, to go on the inside, right? But if you do not, like say you forget to soak your beans, don't worry, I got videos on how to hot flash, beans. You can do this in an hour. All right, so we just come on over here. All right, so now I'll come back here, take a look at this. I like what I see. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my seasonings in now. You know what I mean? Just to let them get a little heat, let them expose themselves. And then any liquid that's in the inside of here, like any of the grease or anything like that, I just like help cook it down. Ooh, you can smell it too. Okay, so look, now I'm gonna add my tomato sauce. And the reason I do it this way, because I like to cook it all. Look at that right there. Now, as you see, that got that southern look to it, right? Again, this is a Cajun 15 bean soup. You know what I mean? But that right there is what you're gonna want to look for. Make sure you guys have make sure you got a spatula, something small, so you can get all of your ingredients inside of here. All right? Remember, right tool for the job. All right. So there's a difference, right? So yeah, I know you guys might have heard this in life when they say, I can give you the recipe, you can make it, I can make it, and it tastes different, right? Earlier I stated that this is almost like a dump and go. But when you cook your ingredients like I'm doing here, instead of just doing a dump and go, you bring out the flavors, right? So these are the heads up and the pro tips that I give on this channel. So we doing it like this. Now we coming with the green chilies, right? We'll add those in there and we just gonna cook this just a little bit. It's still a dump and go, folks. Believe me, it's gonna be good. But if I was making it, I'm showing you how I make it. All right, so now we're gonna add our chicken broth. After I let this simmer, just for a little bit to bring out the flavors inside of here, right? Oh, I gotta tell people, man, you gotta shake these up sometime. You know what I mean? So just get in the habit of always shaking up your stock and your broth, right? So we'll start adding this to it. You might wanna bring your flame up to high now. Okay, so look, I like to bring this up to a boil. Now we know we nice and hot. I done turned it down and trying to get it more so. I'm running a medium heat, halfway between boil and a simmer, right? As you can see right there, right? So now I'm using Creole Kick. This gonna give us that flavor, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and add this here. This right here, you guys can see, it's a tablespoon. Now I don't wanna overpower it with the, Creole Kick. Sometime in the past, I have been putting a couple of tablespoons in here. But listen, 1 tablespoon does nice with all of the flavors, and especially how the tomato sauce just ties it all in. It gives it that southern feel, right? So that's done. You know what I mean? I'm gonna add my bay leaves last. Now let's talk about the ham. Now, I know some of you guys are gonna ask like, hey, I don't eat ham. If you don't eat ham, you guys could have just did butter and extra virgin olive oil. You know what I mean? That would have done it to get you going. I'm just separating these. These are gonna separate in the inside anyway. So listen, you're gonna have a little bit of leftover. You're not gonna keep eating a gang of sandwiches afterwards, right? And again, that's why these type of videos and these recipes, work out fine, right? So look, I'm gonna just cut this down like this. And for those of you guys that do eat the ham, just look at this right here. Look at this meat, and it's so soft. This was close to the bone. These pieces like this, we just go ahead and add those in there. Right? When I tell you this is a meal, that's exactly what I mean. A meal, folks. Now coming back to the knife, look, you want to have a good knife. You see the way I'm making short work of this ham? Man, check it out. Get yourself one. If you guys didn't know, this is called a chef knife, especially when you got little chunks of this, chunk of meat. Now you guys can make this with turkey too. You won't quite get the flavor that, we getting for those of us that eat this, but any substitution of the meat will work just fine. I can feel all of the protein, moving around, hitting the bottom of my square edge, spoon, right? So now we just want to add, our beans, right? So now we just add these to it. And we finna have something real nice, folks. Now, while this is cooking, I'm gonna make myself some cornbread. You know what I mean? You gotta have that. Now this is a meal in itself. For you guys that live out there in them cold states, try this out. And yes, you can make it with another style bean if that's what you want to do. But the 15 bean, listen, everybody been asleep on it. That's why I'm waking everybody up with it. All right, so look, now that we back up to a simmer, we're gonna add our bay leaves, because we always put bay leaves in soup. And then last but not least, this is the star, folks. Now my ham bone, I got 2 of them. You know what I mean? There's a lot, look at this right here, and it got meat on it. This one right here has a little bit more meat. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna use this one because we wanna get that marrow. This is where we get that flavor from. So I'm gonna drop this in here like that. I'm gonna give it a stir. As you guys can see, my bay leaves is in. There's one, and the other one is right there. All right, so I'm just gonna work this in just a little bit like this. I'm finna adjust this fire so it'll stay on the simmer, right? Now we're gonna put the top on. Once I put this top on here, we're gonna go ahead and go for about an hour and a half. Now I'm gonna check it halfway through, so that's 45 minutes. You know what I mean? I like to give it a stir, make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. You know, stir it around, right? But the first hour and a half, we're gonna have the top on, and I'm gonna show you what we do right after that. Okay, so look, timer went off, it's been an hour and a half, right? Break it away from myself. Now you guys get a chance to see it. I stirred this once before. You know what I mean? Look at this ham bone. Oh yeah. This right here is right. All right, so like I said, it's been an hour and a half. Now I'm gonna leave my top off. And we're gonna let this cook down for about another hour and a half. It takes about 3 hours. So what we're gonna do is just start letting some of the liquid in the inside evaporate out. It'll start to thicken up. And as you moving this around there, you can feel the beans still until they get soft enough so that I can press them up against the side, you know, then you'll know they're ready. But right now, we got a little ways to go. Okay, folks, so listen, it's been about 2 hours and 45 minutes. I was just checking it. Come here and take a look at this right here. You see how thick this is right here? I didn't want it to be no thicker. In a minute, we be calling this more like a chili than we would a soup, right? So if it get too thick for you while you cooking it, you lost track of time or whatever, what you want to do is just add yourself a little bit more chicken stock or chicken broth. But you want to see that right there? You see how meaty and hearty that is right there? Mm-hmm, yes, sir. And look, I don't take the bone out on this right here, but you can see nice and clean here. Most of the meat fell off. Then you got a little piece right here. You can just, it just comes right off. The only thing I'm gonna do is take out my, you know what? I'm gonna keep it old school. I'll be taking it out, being honest with you. You know, when I'm cooking for my family, listen, we need the bay leaves in and all of that. If you get one before you heat something up, just put it back in there. Now, if you look, I've already went ahead and put it in the bowl. And guess what, folks? I'm ready for it. Hey, with that being said, I'm not finna over talk it. We finna eat, folks. Ooh-wee. And when I say it's meaty, I mean it is meaty. Look at that right there. Now you know what I'm about to say, folks. Cheers. Hey. Ooh. This right here is fire, folks. Listen, I'm gonna try not to over talk you, but I want to tell you just the combination of all of this together. Make this, come back and tell me what you think, right? Now, if I was gonna give you guys a secret ingredient, I would tell you a teaspoon of, just a teaspoon. Level it off, I mean a true teaspoon of cinnamon would have just set this on fire. This place be blazing right now. Hey, try it and let me know what you think. Now, if you're new to my channel, let me take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there, check it out. There's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And if you wanna know why I didn't hit this yet, because I got some cornbread muffins over there on the side and they cooling. We finna put some butter on it, we finna eat, folks. Guess what? We out. Peace.